welcome back to another episode of The Daily O, sponsored by Firo Pizza. I'm Gabby Sprang, and thank you for joining us this evening. Let's start today by bringing you today's biggest stories. The trial of Derek Chauvin is underway in Minneapolis. Chauvin made headlines last summer after he was involved in the death of George Floyd after Chauvin placed his knee on the neck of Floyd while he pleaded, "I can't breathe." This moment was caught on video and led to widespread protests against police brutality and racism under the Black Lives Matter movement. The trial began today with jurors being shown the final moments of George Floyd's life, the same video that went viral last summer. We will update you on more of the trial when it comes available. The U.S. is beginning to open, but our counterpart across the pond, the U.K., is dealing with another issue altogether. As parts of the UK emerged from the first lockdown last summer, knife crime spiked 25%. Authorities fear that trend will soon return. CNN speaks to the mother of one young man killed by knife crime, who says knife crime is already on the rise. CNN's Nina Dos Santos reports.
It's been an agonizing lockdown spent worrying about the capital's vulnerable children. But finally, Lorraine Jones is ready to reopen. For more than 7 years, she's poured her life into this boxing gym since her 20-year-old son, Dwayne, lost his.
It was just one jab wound, and that went right through his heart. And later on, a message came to me that the man was actually remorseful of what he had done.
Senseless, isn't it?
Very senseless.
Lorraine has made it her mission to keep local kids off these South London streets amid a wave of knife crime in the UK that hit a 10-year peak before the pandemic.
If you're going to carry a knife, you've got a potential to kill somebody or be killed.
Knife crime has also left parents desperately anxious as their children are now finally given more freedom.
There's a saying that idle hands get up to no good, and they're left to do nothing. What will happen to them? Sadly, knife crime has gone up.
Ncaa has 4 sons. She's signing 5-year-old Kanan up early, but is on edge each time his older siblings venture out.
I'm always worried. My son, that's 21, I'm constantly worrying every time he leaves the house because I just don't know where he's going, what he's doing, if he's actually going to return home. It's got to the point where I want to take them away and leave, but where do I leave?
As parts of the UK exited their first lockdown last summer, knife crime spiked 25% and hospital admissions for stab wounds also soared. With so much disruption to education and after-school activities, the fear is that as life gets back to normal, that trend will soon return. Former Children's Commissioner Anne Longfield says that knife crime is just a symptom of a broader problem with stark inequalities and a powerful gang culture luring ever younger minors into its clutches, often to deliver drugs.
You've got their ruthless criminals who will be looking for young people as a commodity of choice. You have really quite young children who will be targeted, started on the edges of some of this activity, but then brought in over time. And of course, the more they see, the more they're involved in, the more the gang leaders have over them. And the risk, of course, is for those kids who have been out of school for a good part of a year now.
London Mayor Sadiq Khan has proposed stationing extra police around schools to protect children and more money for programmes like Lorraine's, where Officer Danny Shannon already lends his support as a coach.
I've seen children from the age of like 12, 13-year-old carrying knives. I've actually held kids that have been stabbed on the streets. The pandemic has definitely changed the way that things are. People have become lost. People that would normally be in this gym are not here, so where are those people now?
COVID brought the past year to a standstill, but it hasn't cured London of its knife crime epidemic. As these empty streets fill up once more, the futures of many children hang in the balance. Nina Dos Santos, CNN, London.
Let's hope we can see changes soon. The Prairie offers a variety of art-related activities for the people of Stillwater. Here's more on the programs they offer.
In a world of staying home, the past year has been filled with people picking up new hobbies and trying out new things. In Stillwater, the Prairie Art Center has become one of the best places to pick up a new artistic skill. They offer group classes and one-on-one lessons for anyone looking to try something new.
Sometimes you you want to learn how to draw, you really have a passion for it, but you just don't know how to get started, yes, you can watch YouTube videos, but there are so many more benefits to having one-on-one conversations and talking through things with an artist and having a mentor like that.
This was the case for Carrie McNichol, a former preschool teacher and stay-at-home mom who had always had an interest in pottery but never had an opportunity to learn. After signing up for a few lessons, McNichol fell in love. Pottery gave her the ability to express herself and create pieces that are imperfectly unique.
I like the things that, you know, these bowls, they are all each unique, and like this one is not perfectly round, and that's okay with me because it's all kind of funky.
McNichol began taking lessons at the center in 2018. After working hard and getting better, she now sells her art at the Prairie Art Center pop-up shops.
So we're very fortunate, but doing our pop-up shops, which we're currently doing today, we are able to really get to know people.
Through their lessons and work with the community, General Manager Megan Brossell says the Prairie Art Center has created a great community of artists and art lovers at the center.
All sorts of different ages. We do it in pottery, we do it in screen printing, we do it in painting and drawing. So we run the gamut in terms of ages.
From painting to screen printing to pottery, the Prairie Art Center has opportunities for anyone of all ages.
I get to participate in community conversations, I get to know my community, and I get to offer them opportunities in my community and make events that wouldn't necessarily be there if we weren't here. So I think that's pretty special.
The Prairie Art Center serves as a place in the Stillwater community where people can grow and create. It's used as a place where people express themselves and heal.
As a teacher, develop my own personal craft as well as meet new people and build a community. It's about community.
So next time you're feeling bored, try picking up a paintbrush and find your next passion.
You can find out more about what the Arts Center offers by heading to artscenter.okstate.edu. That's all we have for news today. We'll be sending to a short commercial break and then weather.
Oh, there you go. Superstar.
The end of the practice is when we do all of our intensity drills.
Okay.
She was going at it.
Stop. If we get them to Detroit by, let's say Monday the 15th. Time's right there. There we go. Yeah. Just, you can't.
Don't want to talk about it.
When you see the water tower, you're gonna make a right.
If we win this, is the one way to get to the playoffs.
I know.
Hey folks, and welcome back to the Ocali. I'm Joshua Weisel in the Ocali Storm Studios, taking a quick look. So right behind me, I'm actually going to move over here. The reason I'm starting off with satellite is because we have a fire risk due to dry conditions and of course these awful winds that we've been experiencing up to 40 miles an hour throughout the day. We're going to be showing you, I'm going to zoom in on this in just a little bit, but take a look. Eastern Oklahoma, even parts of southern Oklahoma are starting to see some fire activity, grass fires, you name it. We even have some noticeable fires across Arkansas and even into Missouri. I'm going to zoom in on the areas in Oklahoma, we do have some smoke that is moving through Payne County from a fire that was south of our area earlier. We still have some smoke over here in eastern Oklahoma. And then, of course, there's those more noticeable fires going on in Missouri and Arkansas. And we do have a fire weather risk across the area. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But we're going to be moving on. This is the active alerts map across the area. Again, fire weather watch across the area, as well as a wind advisory through the rest of this evening. And that is because, of course, if you've been outside today, 40-mile-an-hour winds have been occurring across parts, if not most, of Oklahoma today. And that does include Payne County for both of these advisories. Again, this is until at least 8 o'clock tonight. Moving on, here's a look at this evening and overnight tonight. 78 for the next couple of hours or so, and then we'll start to see temperatures dip down into the 60s. And then by tomorrow morning, we're going to see a high of temperature of 52 across the area by 7 a.m., and then we'll be once again into the 60s by 9 or 10 a.m. So it's going to be a pleasant morning on your way out to school tomorrow morning. Moving on real quick, here's a look at tomorrow afternoon and evening. A high of 67 across Stillwater and Oklahoma City. We can rule out maybe a few thunderstorms across parts of the area up near Stillwater. That's 20 to 30% chance for some showers or storms. Looking at the latest models, it's about a 50-50 chance we see anything in Stillwater. So make sure that you stay tuned throughout the day, just because there's a rain chance tomorrow, but I'm not expecting any sort of widespread thunderstorms across our area tomorrow. And then as we head into Tuesday afternoon, I guess that's supposed to say Wednesday. I apologize for that. 62 across the area Wednesday, 62 across Oklahoma City as well. Mostly sunny skies. It's going to be a pleasant week. We don't really have any sort of rain chances within the next 10 days except for tomorrow, and that will lead us to a more fire weather risk across the area. So here's a look at the allergy index real quick. That tree pollen is persistent. It's staying at a high, and it's not going anywhere for the next couple of days or so. We don't really have any sort of relief from this. And we also have some allergens coming up as well. Grass pollen is at a low to almost moderate. So if you have any sort of allergy issues, it's because we have two of these pollutants in our atmosphere, tree pollen and, of course, grass pollen's coming up as well. So here's a look at my 10-day forecast across the areas. Like I said, fire danger for the next couple of days. This really has no impact on us here at Oklahoma State necessarily, but for anyone watching around the Stillwater-Payne County area, fire weather risk across the area for the next couple of days because we have nothing but sunshine and really no rain chances the rest of the week. We're going to see kind of temperatures start to lower by around Tuesday and Wednesday, but we'll quickly warm back up. 80 for your high on Easter Sunday. I'm going to step out of the way real quick so you can see. Low rain chances once again next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. That's around a 20 to 30% chance, but I'm keeping it relatively low because we're not quite sure yet. That's farther out in the forecast, but it looks like we're going to see temperatures near a high of 85 starting next week, Monday and Tuesday. So pleasant week. Atmospheric wise, we're not really going to see any sort of cloud coverage, mostly sunny skies and warmer temperatures. Definitely feels like spring, almost early summer. So stay tuned for that forecast coming up in the next couple of shows. So stick around for sports coming up right after this.
Welcome back to the Daily O. I'm Griff McClellan, and let's get right into sports. Oklahoma State got the day started with big news from the basketball program. It is being reported by many sources that head coach Mike Boynton is signing a new 7-year contract. Boynton had his best season as a coach this year, leading the Pokes to the Big 12 title game and the second round of the Ncaa tournament, not to mention getting the program's first tournament win since 2009. Boynton's contract is worth $3 million annually. Boynton was the lowest paid coach in the Big 12 last season, but he will now be in the top 25 of highest paid coaches in college basketball. It had been reported that many power conference schools were targeting Boynton, but OSU didn't want to see him go, so they pulled out all the stops to keep him right here in Stillwater. Athletic Director Mike Holder spoke about the re-signing today, saying, quote, "This is a great day for Cowboy basketball. I'm reminded of Eddie Sutton's first news conference in 1990 when he encouraged fans to buy their tickets while they were still available. That was good advice in 1990, and it is great advice once again in 2021." End quote. Boynton took to Twitter, releasing a statement on the re-signing, saying, quote, "I'm very thankful to Coach Holder for his initial vision back in 2017, and his leadership team, as well as President Burns Hargis and the Board of Regents, for the opportunity to keep building on what we've done so far." End quote. He went on to thank the fans and his players for all the support since he took over. The Oklahoma State baseball team was in action over the weekend. Our own Jace Andrews has the recap.
Oklahoma State baseball is now 15-6-1 on the season after an impressive weekend series against Kansas State. This Cowboy baseball team came into this weekend in a little bit of a rut, losing 6 of their previous 8 games to some very talented teams that included one of, if not the best team in the country, in the number 1 ranked Vanderbilt Commodores. Though it had been rough for the Cowboys as of late, Cowboy left fielder Carson McCusker said that the Cowboys came into the series with nothing but confidence.
I think our confidence was up. I mean, we came off a few games that didn't really go our way, and we went out this weekend determined to kind of just slow things down, control the things we control, and just play good baseball.
These Cowboys did just that, putting up 14 runs in just the first game of this series. This offensive explosion was jolted by none other than Canadian Cowboy Max Hewitt, who led the team with 4 RBI on 3 hits. This offense allowed for the team to quickly secure a 14-5 win to start the weekend series. This performance from their catcher gave the entire team energy to go out and compete and secure the 14-5 win to start the weekend.
We see one guy doing really great, and that makes you want to do good, and to know that, if something happens to you, you come out or you get pinch hit for, you got those guys behind you who are pretty much a lockdown there as well.
The second game for the Cowboys did not have quite of an offensive output as the first, but the result was still the same, with the Cowboys coming out on top 4-2. This game was not easily won, though, as the Cowboys were tied up with the Wildcats 2-2 heading into the bottom of the 8th inning. This is when Cowboy right fielder Cade Cabanis smacked a double down the right field line that sent speedster Jackson Kroll racing home from first base, narrowly beating the throw. But as Coach Holliday points out, narrowly is enough.
Just a really good piece of the team, Jackson Kroll's speed, along with a couple other guys who have been very valuable to our team, and he was safe by an eyelash, but an eyelash is enough, and we'll take it.
With a series victory already in hand, the Cowboys look to boost their confidence even more by taking a series sweep against the Wildcats on Sunday. With this sweep on the line for the Cowboys, they started off this game similarly to the previous 2, scoring first with 3 runs in the second inning that included a solo shot from Christian Encarnacion Strand. This game, though, was really about pitcher Justin Robleski, who took a no-hitter into the 7th inning in a dominant pitching performance to help OSU win 8-2 and sweep the Wildcats in the first Big 12 series at O'Brate Stadium. This sweep had a ton of offense, but the way the Cowboys pitched this weekend, Robleski believes there is no rotation better.
I think we stack up with anybody. I don't think anyone in the country has a better starting rotation than we do. I think all the guys that we have are really good, and we have a lot of confidence in running whoever we want out there. So
This team looks to continue the great offense and pitching in the first Bedlam game at O'Brate Stadium this Tuesday. Be sure to come out and support your Cowboys as they look to climb the Big 12 ranks. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. For the Daily O, I'm Jace Andrews.
Thanks, Jace. Be sure and get out to support your Cowboys. This upcoming Thursday is the Oklahoma State Pro Day. NFL scouts and other team personnel will be in attendance to get a closer look at some of OSU's top talent. 5 Cowboys have already been invited to the NFL Combine, those being running back Chuba Hubbard, tackle Tevin Jenkins, linebacker Amin Ogbongbemiga, wide receiver Tylan Wallace, and cornerback Rodarius Williams. This will be the last time teams will be able to see them showcase their on-the-field knowledge, as the combine will not have on-the-field workouts for scouts, but rather a lot of virtual meetings and sit-downs. We will have all the coverage of the Pro Day and more this upcoming Friday. It was Bedlam soccer this weekend as the Cowgirls hosted Oklahoma at Neil Patterson Stadium. 14th ranked OSU has been flying high this spring. The Cowgirls came into Saturday's game on a 7-game winning streak. Meanwhile, Oklahoma looked to snap its run of 3 games without a victory. The first half was tightly contested, with OSU seeing the better chances. Olivia Dowell was close to giving the Cowgirls the lead as her free kick nearly snuck under the crossbar. Minutes later, Gabriella Coleman forced a tough save from the Sooners goalkeeper. At halftime, the score was deadlocked at 0-0. It took the Cowgirls less than 5 minutes to score in the second half after being given a penalty kick for a Sooner handball. Grace Yoakum stepped up to the spot and fired in her shot to give OSU the lead. The goal was Yoakum's 10th on the season as she leads the team in scoring. The Sooners pushed to find an equalizer and nearly found one after a hard foul on Maya McCutcheon in the 70th minute. Cowgirl goalkeeper Amber Lockwood denied the ensuing free kick to keep OSU's 1-goal lead intact. 15 minutes later, the referee would give another penalty kick to the Cowgirls after Dowell was brought down in the box. This time around, it was Dowell who took the kick and slotted it home to double the lead. The goal was the sophomore's 9th this season. The duo of Yoakum and Dowell has been key for the Cowgirls this spring. The pair have scored 11 of OSU's 15 goals since the spring restart back in February. The Cowgirls held off the Sooners in the closing minutes to post their 4th shutout in the last 5 games. The victory also gave OSU soccer its 8th Bedlam Series trophy in the last 10 seasons. Up next will be the biggest test of the spring so far as the Cowgirls travel to Fort Worth to play number 4 TCU. The game against the Horned Frogs will be played on Saturday at 5 p.m. The next home game at Neil Patterson Stadium will be on Sunday, April 11th. The Cowgirls will host Notre Dame in the regular season finale. After that, it will be postseason play for OSU in the NCAA Soccer Championship. In NCAA tournament news, the Elite Eight has been set and begins tonight. 3 number 1 seeds are still in, with Baylor beating Villanova, undefeated Gonzaga crushing Creighton, and Michigan soundly beating Florida State. Meanwhile, 2 double-digit seeds advanced into the Elite Eight, with UCLA dramatically beating 2-seeded Alabama, and the lowest remaining seed, Oregon State, beating Loyola Chicago. Houston shut down Syracuse. Arkansas ended the Cinderella run of Oral Roberts. And lastly, USC powered through Oregon. The Elite Eight games start tonight after the show, with Oregon State taking on Houston at 6:15. And later, Arkansas playing Baylor right after at 9. Moving on now to the NBA, the league is still shaking after all the roster moves from the past week. And teams were not done yet. The Nets and Lakers have continued to be busy in the buyout market, grabbing 2 big-time names. The Nets added former Spurs forward LaMarcus Aldridge on Friday, and many fans were upset that the Nets, who have already built the Big Three, signed Blake Griffin. This is no doubt a move to try and build a team that can beat LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers, meanwhile, have been busy themselves signing former All-Star Andre Drummond. Drummond last played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and after unsuccessful attempts to trade him, he was bought out. The Lakers now add one of the league's best rebounders and shot blockers. In other news, the Oklahoma City Thunder have had an up-and-down year, but have had a pleasant surprise recently in the emergence of young star center Moses Brown. Brown is the hottest player on the team by far, putting up crazy numbers rebounding and dunking. The team rewarded him yesterday with a multi-year contract. Brown has got a step up in minutes ever since it was announced that veteran center Al Horford would be transitioning to a mentor role on the team. But Brown has been killing it lately. In his last game against the Celtics, he scored 21 points and recorded 23 rebounds. Brown and the Thunder are back in action tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. That's all we've got for our show today. Make sure to follow us on social media at @thedailyo_TV. You can also watch our show on Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, and on Suddenlink Channel 112. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here on Friday. For the Daily O, I'm Griff McClellan. Have a great night.
The Daily O is brought to you by Firo's Fire-Kissed Pizza.